Hey guys, I'm back with another video. Today we're doing what if Issei was Indra and Ashura, bro. Like I had thought about this for a while, but I also have a big news to do. You see, what if Issei had the Infinity Stones? Yeah, I'm kinda gonna cancel that. You see, I've never really canceled a series before, but that series in particular, I really didn't like. I didn't really liked how I did it, and it really felt half made to me. Because you remember, I go more in depth with all of my what ifs when I do the power scaling, but I use so little of the Infinity Stones and what it could actually really do. The little bit that I did know was really overpowered, and I really couldn't use it all that much. So in the future, I might do it again, but right now I don't feel like I'm even qualified to go on that realm because he has to do a lot of holding back, a lot of estimating his power, a lot of power shifts. I just don't know how I can go forward with that. If you want me guys to delete it, then I'll delete it at some point, but I probably won't because I want to leave that there as a reminder, like I did something wrong and I couldn't finish it. All my other series, I knew how I'm gonna do part twos, but with that, I really couldn't figure out a way how to do a part two. With that, I really was just winging it for that one, and I finally got the lashback of winging it. I really didn't like it. I didn't like how it was so short and rushed. I didn't like how I pronounced things and how I choreographed it, and it was really weird when I listened back to it. So I'm deciding to cancel it. Probably if you guys that liked it, if you forgive me about that, but it's really nothing I can do about it. It was so bad that I thought it was so bad that I just couldn't come back from it. I just couldn't look that thing in the same way again. So yes. So and another part of this video. By Ashura I mean Ashura and Indra along with their reincarnations, which includes Madara and Sasuke, and then also Hashirama and Naruto. So it includes all of them. So let me clarify that. So Issei's gonna have many summons, but his main summon is gonna be Manda. He has Manda as his main summon because remember he's also gonna have the Renegon, so he has like the bird, the rhino, the panda, the centipede, a lot of other shit, right? So the crab, like yeah. So that's gonna be there. Okay, and along in my other what ifs, I'm gonna make him rich, but I'm actually gonna go out to my realm of possibility, my realm of doing things in general, and I'm gonna make an OC. Well, I always make it. I made an OC. No, I'm always making an OC character for this what if. But I'm gonna do something weird because naturally I don't always do this particular thing. I keep it a long way from that. Just make it this random person, but I actually have to make it in a way where it feels more realistic. So yeah, and the power is gonna be the power scaling is gonna be pretty weird. And I'm also like adding another extra what's call it arc, and I'm doing this so basically he can flex and I can tell you just the whole of his abilities in general. Because I can just say it, but how I put it into a battle is really different, and then I'll go on from canon from there. But there'll be a lot of other changes. But don't worry, guys. Let's get into the video. So we start this with if at Issei on the ground, just looking up at the sky, beaten and bruised, remembering his fight with the Phoenix guy and his brother having to save him. Issei was a part of, let's call it, twins, where his brother was older than him and way stronger than him. In this reality, Issei doesn't have booster gear. He doesn't have anything. The reason he got saved by Issei, I keep getting that name wrong. Rise Gremory is that, yeah, he calls her Rise Gremory. They're not on Rise terms. They're not on first name basis. The only reason she saved him was because the only reason he was attacked in the first place was because of his brother. The person thought that that he had the boosted gear when his brother had it. And everything went to canon after that because, well, kind of fucked up his life. So, and his brother don't even take responsibility. The only responsibility he took was to tell Issei to bring back him, because the only reason he would die was because of him, and that meant he would feel bad about it. Then don't get me wrong, Issei's brother does not care about him one bit, but having that weight on his conscience would have been a little bit too much for him. So he decided not even to risk it. So Issei got to live. Now, although he knew how Issei didn't really care about him, she only did this because of his brother asking, he still... Hold on, guys. My dear God. Sorry, guys. I'm back. Issei looked up at the stars and just... Yeah, he did respect Issei because he saved him. No matter what, he couldn't deny that. Issei did save him. Issei did save him, so he did feel indebted to Issei. So yeah, after a while, he went back with his brother to go back to the human world. With his brother the whole time mocking him because he couldn't fight the Phoenix guy at all, where his brother could and beat him. But he actually still did the same strategy with sacrificing his arm to dragon, I guess. Sacrificing an arm, but hey, who gives a fuck? Now, this is where we would go back way past in time. Before Issei was born, before anybody was born in this world, we had two brothers, Ashura and Indra. Now, let's go into them in depth. You see, after Naruto and Sasuke finally stopped, we see two people. Their eyes was glowing a bright blue color, and they had no distinct pupils. They were just glowing eyes. They were battling on, and it's been so for centuries, until they finally stopped. And when this stopped, tears ran down from the older brother's eyes, with a boy with red eyes and brown hair. And he started to cry, and he also had blue tints in his hair. And he started to cry and apologize to the shorter person, the younger one. And he had short brown hair with black eyes also, and he also had black markings around his face, and one of his eyes had a distinct sage mode with a slit down in the middle. This is also his back sage mode, and arms behind him. But the other brother had a Sharingan and a Rinnegan in his eye. And he looked at him and he was apologizing profusely, saying that he was wrong, that he's so sorry for what he's done. Yeah, and this is where another man comes. And this is the grateful six-path sage. And Hagoromo embraces all two of his sons and says, finally, y'all been reunited together. And Hagoromo hugs them with tears coming down his eyes and feeling so emotional about this moment. And if you didn't catch on, really, it is both Ashura and Indra. And they've been fighting for decades. Not decades, years upon years. Thousands of years they've been fighting each other. And then they finally stopped. And this happened because Sasuke and Naruto became friends. and broke the cycle of hatred. Not the cycle of hatred completely, but they still broke it between the Senju Uzumaki clan and the Uchiha clan. They finally broke that thing. And then Indra says he wants to do something with this power. He doesn't want to go in the afterlife and let this power rot away. He wants this power to be given and done good. All he's done with his power is commit treason and bad things. And Hagoromo looked at his son with a smile on his face and says, finally, you've matured into a man. You are no longer a boy. You accept your failures and embrace them, and you put them towards you. Although you know there's no other side for you, you still want to do good now because you realized your faults and imperfectness. And Ashura then, as his father said that, also told his father that he also wanted to give his power away. He's always had this power just to defeat his brother, but it's no longer necessary. That's all the reason he kept it. But then Indra remembered something. He remembered about the curse mark. He says he wants to train for a bit and get back a power that his reincarnation had. And Hagoromo asks what it was. He says what do you call it? Curse mark. Although it has very ill intent, it's still a significant boost in power. So whoever gets it would have a good deal in strength. And Ashura says, I want to get back my sword, the light grass cutter. I forgot it somewhere and I can't find it anymore. And Hagoromo, as he said that, he opened his hand, and a light came out from his hand and stretched out into basically the black grass cutter that Sasuke had. He pulled it out, and when it was pulled out, a bright light. The blade became a bright white color, and he says, the blade that can kill all evil, a blade that can destroy immortality. The light grass cutter. Himo no Kagura. And that's the sword's name, the Himibi no Kagura. Yeah, whatever. The Himibi no Kagura. Put down in the comments, Hinobi no Kagura. I know you don't know you could spell that, but like, okay. At least try. And if you get it right, I'll comment if you spell Himobi no Kagura right. Himobi no Kagura. I said that too much. Anyways, Hagoromo pat them both on their head and says, my two sons, I am so proud. And they look down in their hands, especially Indra, and sees the moon seal, and he says, I'm truly sorry, father. And Hagoromo says, it's all in the past now. You can't change the past, but you can only look towards the future. And Indra smiles. Ashura hugs his brother and says that they're finally gonna go on, but Indra reminds him he's not going where they're going. They're going to someplace righteous and for the good people in this world, but where he is going is no such. And the only places to go besides there is hell. And well, he has a choice to that because sometimes he did do good. That's why he would be in purgatory, if he so willed it. But if he decided to go to hell, well then. But this is where Ashura said no. No person in this world is perfect. I am not perfect. I didn't look past and see your point of things. I didn't try to help you then. I also failed. So I'll be staying in purgatory. And Hagoromo looked at his sons and said, I guess you'll be staying with me. I've been in purgatory for the last thousands of years. Just watching, actually. And Indra says I must get back to training, and Ashura says I must get back to my sword technique so I can give off this power. So we go back to the recent time. We see Issei come in the house and his mother greets his brother but not him. His father says, "How does it go, kiddo?" to his brother but not him. Issei just walked to this room. This was a normal thing ever since his brother came into the picture. Now, I said they were twins. I meant twins in birth-wise. By blood? Well, no. True, they have the same birthday, the same day they were born, but are they blood related? Not at all. You see, Issei's mom, it was just Issei's mom, and that was it. Issei's mom and him. But then she got married to who he saw as a basic, how do I say this? Can't find the word. A straggler. He depended on his mother to do everything. He never worked for himself. He never really cared for it. And there's some points where he never really thought he cared for his mother at all. He was wrong though. He did care, but not in the way you would think. He cared about Issei's mom's money. They were not that rich, but her standing in the company that she worked for, well, basically made her rich. She could do anything she ever wanted, technically. So that's why he married her. And ever since, his mother changed. She became more aggressive towards him and blamed him stuff that she never did. Ever since his father died, everything was different with her. And at first he rebelled against it, but then he slowly reminded himself that he was weak. No matter where he would put it, he was weak. He couldn't throw a ball right. Even becoming a demon, he could only throw a ball like halfway to a pedestal. He didn't even have any friends anymore. The friends that he did have was taken from his brother. And it includes all his pervert friends. He also had a friend, but I'm not getting into him just yet. And everyone in the school adored him, adored his brother, but where it came to him, they all despised him and hated him for no exact reason. Issei, over time, got accustomed to this. This is where he hid his bed. But today, on this day 4th, his life will forever change. No matter what, he would never be the same Issei Hyodo again. Damn, his name wouldn't even be Issei Hyodo. Now, let's go into Issei's figure, and for now, don't expect a lot. Issei was a skinny and scrawny kid. He had black hair, but no, he didn't have black hair. He had brown hair with tints of black and blue in it. And it was flat, but also covered his eyes, making him look like a nerd and a dork. But anyways, he had glasses, and he had a freckle on his left cheek. And to be honest, he wasn't that attractive. Issei there fell into sleep. A few moments later, he started twisting and turning furiously, and his body just became hot, and he started to sweat, and he got in contact with the cold. When he was a kid, this was nothing unusual. But there was always one person, his best friend, and in this one he didn't know she was a girl, so yeah, his best friend from next door. But to say he had no friends was kind of downplaying himself. Akano and Konako, they were his two friends. Akano was very flirty, but she was flirty with everyone, so Issei didn't find anything special. But Konako, on the other hand, she was weird. Konako never really liked to talk to anybody, and the fact that she talked to him was very weird on times. But Konako says he was not a pervert anymore, because he was, but he decided not to be, because his image didn't get ruined or just worse. So she stopped being a pervert, and he says she gives him good candy. And yeah, exactly what it means. It didn't mean anything else, you perverts. Anyways, Issei Issei was actually having a dream. Issei was in this pitch black place, but this place started to leak blood from the sky. It started to land on the ground, and he started to be engulfed with blood. And he rose to the top, and this is where he found something started materializing out of the blood. Another him, but this time he was just black and gray with red eyes, and he started to strangle him. And Issei wasn't having it. He didn't want to die here. He didn't, and if you didn't know, in dreams you kinda don't know you're in a dream. So he didn't know you was in a dream in the first place. So yeah. He then strangled him. He pushed off his hand, and for some reason a blade of blood came into his hands, and he sliced off this other him head. Now his head fell off, and this is what you can see on the thumbnail with his head coming off. Yeah, that's what happened to him. Then Issei woke up. Issei just went along, right? And he woke up, but hold on, guys. You see my dog Itachi? He's coming into the house, and I kind of don't want him. Well, I don't want him in the house, but I don't want him in like the basement or the workspace because. So sorry. Issei woke up and he felt strange. He walked to the bathroom and he looked in the mirror. One of his eyes were completely black, and his eyes were yellow, and the outside of his eyes were black, with black markings on one half of his body. And he felt weird, and he didn't know what to do, so he ran out the house. He grabbed the hoodie and ran out of the house. But before he left, he overheard his parents talking, saying that tomorrow Issei is dead. His father convinced his mother to kill Issei, to make it look like he would die of natural causes, by putting a certain medicine in his food, allergic reaction of sorts, and pretend like they never knew about allergic reaction, because Issei never really went to the doctor, but they knew what he was allergic to. So they were planning to kill Issei and make it look like it was a pure accident. And they were just gonna give his room and all the things that he had to his brother. And Issei heard this and just left the house. He walks down the street, still feeling sick and drained for no reason. And this is where he hits an alley and he goes inside of it and just falls on the trash that is there. And he starts remembering things. All of Indra's powers and memories. He starts getting everything and just starts remembering everything. But Indra and Ashura's faces are blanked out, and every people that he sees, like Madara, Hashirama, Sasuke, Naruto, their eyes and everything about them, every distinctive feature of them are blocked out. Issei is just there until he gains this wisdom. He gains the power of Hashirama, Naruto, Sasuke, Indra, and Madara. Now, he now knows what he is. Well, he doesn't perceive himself as a god, but he's a godlike being at this point in time. This is where he finds everything. But when he opens his eyes, he says something.
Wake up to reality. Nothing ever goes as planned in this accursed world. The longer you live, the more you will realize that the only things that truly exist in this reality are merely pain, suffering, and futility. Listen, everywhere you look in this world, wherever there is light, there will always be shadows to be found as well. As long as there is a concept of victors, the vanquished will also exist. The selfish intent of wanting to preserve peace initiates wars, and hatred is born in order to protect love. There are nexuses, causal relationships that cannot be separated.
After saying that to himself, he looks up with a Sharingan in one eye and a Renegon in his other, with Tomo surrounding his pupil. His hair is slowly turned black and blue, seen on the picture here. He then took a rubber band that he so conveniently had in his pants and tied his hair into a bun. It also got longer, it was becoming like that. His eyes became a dark green color, almost black, but if you looked closely, it would be green. Issei originally had green eyes, so I'm gonna let him keep it. He had 2 sharp teeth, and his body became more muscular and toned. He said, Renegon, and his Renegon pulsed, and a portal opened, and he walked through the portal. He walked through the portal and he ended up in a blank place, a desolate planet. But on a desolate planet, it had a small